Now, while I was in the town of Assisi, Italy, I also had an opportunity to visit Los Angeles. No, not that Los Angeles, bro, how many times do I have to tell you? Don't go to that Los Angeles, okay? It requires no effort on your part whatsoever, since I am literally asking you to do absolutely nothing. There's really bad rappers there, and they'll force you to listen to their really bad rap music in exchange for real-life currency, okay? It's a lose-lose for everybody, I'm telling you. Instead, I'm talking about the original Los Angeles, the OG LA, if you will, which is located right here in Assisi, Italy. Los Angeles is the name of a Catholic church that was built a few centuries after St. Francis of Assisi passed away. When the Spanish Franciscan missionaries traveled all the way to California, they named the city of Los Angeles after this very same church. But even though this church wasn't around during the time of St. Francis, this whole area played a pretty significant role in his lifetime. Hence why the church is standing here today. St. Francis and the other friars actually lived here where the church is standing. Back then, it was a forested area filled with all kinds of little birdies and deer and bears made out of lasagna and plenty of other pasta noodles. Now, if you know anything about St. Francis, you probably know he was a pretty avid animal lover. Chances are, if you see a painting or a sculpture of him, he's usually seen talking to animals. Back in the day, Francis would sit out here in the forest, talk to the doves, and tell them to go out and praise the Lord. Since then, he's been deemed the patron saint of animals. Thanks to St. Francis, there's a lot of churches out there that bless animals as a way of honoring him and showing how heaven is open to all of God's creatures. So if you've ever had a beloved pet pass away, don't worry. St. Francis is probably up there with them right now, taking care of them and praising the Lord with them. But of course, that's not the only history St. Francis has with this area. One night while he was living here, Francis was being tempted by the devil. He was feeling really sorry for himself and thinking about turning back on his simple way of life. Even though he devoted his entire life to poverty, he didn't think he was worthy enough to serve the Lord. After all, what's one man in one small town compared to the mercy and glory of God? So naturally, Francis strips himself naked and rolls around in some thorns as one tends to do. But as time goes on, the thorns turn into roses, none of which have any thorns on them. This was God's way of telling Francis that he was indeed worthy. In fact, this is what inspired Francis to go out and start the Franciscan order, so others could join in his vow of poverty with him. Sure enough, the rose garden is still there to this very day. Not with the same roses, of course, but it's been preserved ever since Francis lived here with the other friars. From what the monks at the church told us, sometimes on a clear day, the turtle doves will come down and land on this same statue of St. Francis. So even though he's gone, the doves are still there, spending time with him and probably praising the Lord with him just as they used to do. Next to the Rose Garden is what's called the Rose Chapel. This is the room where Francis spent the rest of the night praying and giving penance after rolling around in all them thorns. As you can see, the Rose Chapel has been painted with some pretty amazing frescoes, a few centuries after Francis was venerated by the Catholic Church. The frescoes show different events from throughout his life, like Francis being surrounded by angels while praying to Jesus and Mary, and another painting of him kneeling down and conceding before the Pope. While the basilica is called Los Angeles, the official name for it in English is the Papal Basilica of St. Mary of the Angels. This is a minor basilica that also happens to be the 7th largest Christian church in the entire world. If you're interested to learn more about these historical buildings and other historical figures in the early Christian church, don't forget to like and subscribe and all that good stuff.